Rosecrans Radio. I'm Rosecrans Vic, joined by my motherfucking guy, all the way from Brooklyn,
Absolute.
Radamiz.
Absolutely. Here, man. Good to
It's
good
the
to
deal,
see you.
bro.
Good to see you out here. You was
Good to
on
see
my
you
turf
again.
last time. Now
Oh
I'm on
yeah,
yours. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, this is dope. It's perfect timing. I feel like you know what I mean. Like last time it was a cool introduction. You know what I mean. Getting to know you. Went to your element. You know what I mean. We're in the
He was in the hookah spot.
it was in the hookah spot. Like it was. It's hard to explain because like a lot of the people that listen to this probably from LA.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain that spot because there's no like LA equivalent.
Yeah.
Like it was like coffee, beer.
It was in Alphabet City.
Alphabet
it's like
City,
to the
like
east, like super east. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
chill.
dope though. It was a vibe. Like everybody that I was with an entourage.
Yeah.
So
So I had to come and pull
so yeah,
up.
that's why I'm not even mad. Like
it's
just
the whole opposite. Right?
It's literally the opposite.
Right.
And everybody was like, "Yo, like where are we? What are we doing here?" I'm just like, "Bro,
You just macking with Radamiz. That's
you know what I mean? That's
doing,
what we doing." Like so. Everybody was like, "Yeah, that spot was low key lit though." I was confused what kind of place I was in. Like there was a family, they were like smoking hookah. There was no music, or if there was music, it was like old timey music.
Like low,
like, yeah.
I mean, they throwing all the ratchet shit to it. It just depends on the time of the day. But since it was early, it was like
also,
some jazz, like chill.
It was also like 1 p.m. or something.
Yeah, exactly. It was like mad early. Y'all had a good time though.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, on God. Yeah, but shit, bro. A lot has changed since then. I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, you dropped the project.
Yep.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Absolutely.
From what I've seen, you know, from the outside perspective, it's looked like, you know, definitely increased your profiles. Definitely a lot of traction on it. What's your thoughts on like how the album's been received so far?
Well, I think, you know, when you drop an album, it's way different than a single that people know. It's way different than a viral moment. It's way different than a video that everybody thinks is cool. You know, a body of work either levels you up, maintains you, or lowers you, and not in a way that a single cannot. You know, if your favorite rapper might drop a video and you haven't watched it in a month, that doesn't mean. But if your favorite rapper dropped a project and nobody heard it, that means something. Or you know, there's their careers that get swayed from bodies of work. So I think. VIM was getting its traction. New York, Save the Youth, Fake Good. Everything was getting its thing, but it's different when it's like, now it exists as an album for you to listen to. And I think there's a whole different audience from the last time I dropped the album to now that I think we were able to just showcase. Like now we're in this for the long run. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in it to establish my personality, my identity. This is how I see a project, you know what I'm saying, from the first second to the very last second, curate it, and you just have a different level of respect for, I guess, for like what I do. Yeah. And, you know, a great album isn't going to be known in the first couple of days, first week. You know, it's after a while, you're like, damn, hold on, I keep hearing about this album still.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we get it. He dropped the album, but then it's 2 months later and it's 3 months later, and that's kind of like the road that we're on. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
How do we make sure this album stays alive and stays present because it's worth listening to?
You
know what I mean?
How long would you say it took you to make that album?
The music, I'd say give or take about like 2 years. You know, it's 3 years since the last album came out, but I'd give it 2 years from like the first like New York History produced, like that's like the first beat we got. To, you know what I'm saying, the final mix master.
I love that song too. Yeah. That's super dope. So I remember tapping in with you the day before the album was dropping. I was like excited. I was like, yo, it's just dropping, bro. Like, you know? And then it seemed like the next day, that's when Kevin Durant like posted it on his Instagram story. And I'm like, yo, like, whoa, this shit's moving fast. Like, talk to us, you know, about that. How that came about and like just that whole like, you know, I'm sure like wave of either, you know, followers or just, you know, people just kind of like, you know, being woken up maybe like to you.
I mean, I've had like a light relationship back and forth with him like for a couple of months before that. Yeah. I was surprised when he posted my shit publicly because that's different than when you're you know what it is, like, you know people, you run into people at parties, you talk to people, you have internet relationships with people. It's different when they make it public.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just on live with my fans, like I just felt love from the world. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, you just going live. I don't even be doing that shit. Yeah. Let me just accept whoever wants to talk to me and we just kick it. And then somebody just pulled up and like, yo, KD just posted like your songs on his page. I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Wiz like hit me up right after. He jumped on live with me, like. But I think, you know, I mean, it's still a human being
Of
it's
course,
still a person.
yeah.
Like, I get it. I mean, he's my favorite basketball player now,
Yeah.
but so that's what makes it iller to me
Of
than
course.
just an NBA player. You know what I mean? And the kind of person he is as an individual. But,
and he's playing in Brooklyn now.
But it definitely helps because, you
Yeah.
know, there are people who need validation from outside sources to pay attention to what you're doing.
On God.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and as an artist and as a creative and as somebody, we're always rising. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You can't aim for those things too much because you're not in control of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When somebody does co-sign you, but I guess it's a blessing when it pops up because for an outsider who needs some kind of like concrete, no, this person's trajectory is upwards, like
Yeah.
a co-sign will help. You know what I'm saying? There's
Of
so
course.
much happening. Everybody thinks that they're the best.
Of
Everyone
course.
feels like they deserve the shot. So those things help kind of just,
Yeah.
help the fans decipher what to pay attention
Yeah,
to.
and I
what
feel
not
like
to.
sometimes even, maybe not in this case, but a lot of times, you know, when you do receive that outside validation, your own like supporters and like people that are close to you, they start to feel, you know, more comfortable. Like, oh yeah, see, I told y'all, like, and they make it more public. You know what I mean?
Literally,
Like,
on my last album, One Night Stand, I have a song where I say that I ain't here to prove my haters wrong, but my fans right.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And I like it. I love fame, clout,
Of course.
cosign for my fans.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, cause for me, KD posting my shit didn't change anything about the mix.
At
my
all.
lyrics are the same. What I'm doing it for was the same. You know what I'm saying? But something like that makes my fan feel like they don't have to be apprehensive when they in the whip with their homies.
Yeah.
And they just want to play some rad. Like, they don't
Yeah.
gotta feel like, what are people gonna think? They could just play it and be like, nah, I don't give a fuck. You
Of
know
course.
what I'm saying? Like,
And they can feel some type
people
of
like
like,
supporting success. You know what I'm saying? As
Yeah,
an artist,
exactly.
it's important. That's why you end up having a lot of artists pretend like they're more on than they are because they just trying to make people. But I feel like I understand it too. You know, nobody likes to support somebody who doesn't believe in himself.
Yeah.
It's tough from a fan's perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nah,
they
that's
like to see, like they like to make it feel like you know exactly what you're doing and they riding with you.
exactly. And it's just gonna increase everything. Like, people are gonna be like, oh damn, me and KD have the same music taste.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
no,
Like,
absolutely. I mean, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I think my shit is hot too, so me and him have good taste. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's super dope. I also saw that you were able to, you know, do the or I believe you're on Beats One like a few times, right? You went with Ebro.
Yeah, they show me love.
and Nadeska.
Yeah, Nadeska's like she's been supporting me honestly since like the New York shit too.
Wow.
Like, yeah, she was just showing love out of nowhere. And I mean, shout out to my homie Eswit. She's like plugged up over there at Apple, and
Yeah.
I guess she got Nadeska hip to my stuff. I know that she just tries to get me popping in there in general, and Carly Hustle over there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nadeska like came around in New York, and she was just pumping for mad long, honestly, before we even met and had our interview.
Wow.
So it's good to like, you know, yeah, those are good reminders, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you in your own head, like, all right, do people pay attention? Like, are they seeing what's up? And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's worth it.
No, definitely. I also saw the you did the what was it? Like, you have a song on the Need for Speed. Is it Need for Speed?
Yeah, Need for Speed.
The
Save
Need for
the
Speed.
Youth.
Yeah, that was dope as fuck.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know Brandon was like more hyped than me.
Yeah, we talked
he
about
fucked
it. He
with
was
that
just
game,
like, he couldn't tell me at the time like what exactly it was, and he was just like, it's like a
kept
game.
the low on him?
He's
He
like,
was just
it's
you
a
didn't wanna
game.
fuck with the bag,
He's
right?
like,
I feel that.
it's a game that we grew up like playing, and I'm like, damn, like,
Yeah, man.
wow, like I was like, okay, either like GTA or Need for Speed,
Right.
and I'm just like,
Need for Speed.
And then later on, I seen it on your page, I'm like, that's hard, like,
Yeah, that's history too. That's who produced it and is on the joint with me. And
That's dope
you know what
as
I'm
fuck.
saying? But like, nah, that shit is dope. It's the same way. Like, you know, growing up, game soundtracks are like how you know what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on. And even though we may not discover music that way, we're not 11, 12, 13,
Yeah.
10, 9. You know what I mean? That's how you. And Save the Youth, it was a clear. Like, we saw the spike up, we saw the comments,
Wow.
we saw like
That's
in
amazing.
the game it still isn't even out. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
a bunch of like, you know, a bunch of playlists pop out and
Yeah.
all that shit. So that shit is dope. It's like, damn, that's how you get to discover my shit. That's crazy.
yeah,
you
no,
know?
that was fire.
And it's with your homies. You know what I
On
mean?
God.
Word up.
Yeah.
You know.
So I was listening to the album today. A lot of songs, like a lot of lyrics in each song, like stuck out to me. I think I tweeted the one earlier, the 5'8"
Yeah.
one, because I'm 5'8" as well, so that was
Holla.
dope.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, I felt that.
That's the last song too.
Yeah.
You made it all the way to the end.
Of
Like, you
course,
was actually
nah. I
bumping.
listened to it a few times back.
Popping.
Like,
Fire.
it was really dope. What I liked was just the whole, like, it felt very like methodical. Like, you put everything into like structuring it a certain way. I really enjoyed the story, the opening up about, you know, how you have like, you know, cousins back home who like, you know, don't have shoes, like, you know, just certain things like that, like the real poverty like that exists in like these third world countries that like a lot of us come from, you know, like as Latinos. It was really dope because I had never really heard it put out in a song, because, you know, there's not too many, you know, obviously like Latino artists, and just to speak from that perspective was really dope. Why did you feel like it was, you know, like important to do that? I
think the same reason why you mentioned it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I had to look at the game, and I'm like, yo, like, I'm never going to objectively be the best rapper, right? Yeah. Like, there's not gonna be like the world consensus is Radamiz is the best. Like, everybody has their own opinion, everybody has their own taste level. Yeah. Obviously, you work towards that, right? But I realized the biggest thing about being what considers people the best, one is their like humanity, like who they are as a human being. Yeah. You know, their sensitivity, their awareness to like other people and the present time, you know what I mean, and their transparency. But then the other thing is like embracing their individuality, you know what I'm saying. And for me, obviously, like being Dominican, like there's like Latinos have always had a presence in hip hop, but more so honestly is Puerto Ricans and honestly like Mexicans because of like Cypress Hill and all that shit. But like Dominicans, like 100% Dominican artists from New York incorporating that and still making it engageable with, like, that just didn't exist. So it kind of, and I know I'm not the only Dominican that likes hip hop, so I'm like, yo, let me find a way to like not sell out my culture, pimp it out. Let me make sure like I represent my shit. Like, it's definitely there, but I'm not only speaking to them too. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to introduce the world to it. It's the same thing with like being from New York, you know what I'm saying, and having that shit in my music. It's like, how do I definitely represent my roots, definitely represent my knowledge, you know, the people around me, the surroundings, but have it be engageable with the world. You know, Kendrick Lamar is always my best example. Like, Kendrick Lamar is super LA, but you could hear him anybody. There's an entry point for everybody, and I kind of want to like, I really respect that. You know,
dope. It was totally like,
and I see it the same way, the New York side and like the Latino in general. You know?
It was like a completely brand new perspective to me that I hadn't heard before, which was dope because I've always fucked with New York music, like in general, and to just, like I said, just to hear like it's a story that's never been told before. You know what I mean? From that perspective, even you going into like, you know, I'm the son, or what did you say? Like, I'm the son.
My grandparents.
Like just like
Rosa, Papa Berto.
You're their descendants, like proudly like stating that. You know what I mean? Was really dope. Another question I had, does your family
appreciated that?
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because that was one of the last decisions. You know, we shot the Know My Name video that Fifth directed, and like, that was in DR, obviously, and shit like that. But like, we had that in May 2018. That poem was like one of the last things I did. It just felt like, it
was dope because being Latino as well, like, I feel like we really identify with like, I'm so and so's son, or like I'm so and so's like grandson.
That's how they
like,
find out who you are. Like, you're the son of
like it's something you really like take on, like you wear it. You know what I mean? Like like my grandpa so and so, like it really means something.
Absolutely.
You know
that's
what I mean?
I didn't even say my parents' names. I said my grandparents' names. You know what I mean?
That's how people start to know you. But I was curious to know, like, does your family listen to your music, or can they understand part of it, or like?
Yeah, I have cousins who are fans. I have, you know, the craziest part is that they're not used to me, like the archetype that I exist. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
of course, yeah.
Dominicans, we're used to like merengue and bachata, or like some reggaeton shit, or playing baseball. And that's pretty much it. As far as like creative and the arts, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me to come out and it's like, oh, I'm a hip hop artist, but you know, this is what I represent, a legacy, and this is my opinion on art, and this is my opinion on presentation, and this is, you know, I have my circle that I represent, so it's like my crew. I'm not surrounded by a bunch of Dominican people, you know what I'm saying? I'm the only Latino. I mean, Brandon's like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like the dynamic is way different, you know, and I think it's important for me to do that because it shows that there's a whole other side, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not the only one that represents that, and I think it's taking time for them to notice, like, I'm not just the way Dominicans are normally portrayed. Like, it's actually my responsibility to open up that perspective, and you know, in the mass media way, you know what I'm saying? Like now we're out here also, you know. I'm not the only Dominican that knows who Basquiat is. Like,
exactly.
But that's not what you think of, you know what I'm saying? So
that's dope. Do they ever ask you to like like, oh, mijo, like do some reggaeton or
Come
something?
on, you answer the question. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I'm playing with that now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I got some shit that's like hot. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but I've always actively refused because I didn't drop my album. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
in the album, you can hear the Latino references,
Of
right?
course,
But
yeah.
I only say one line ever in Spanish. It's like,
Yeah.
let me establish that I need the world, yo, this is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But
Before
I don't
you go
need to
left, yeah.
before I give you that. And even when you'll see, bro, it's gonna be sexy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because for me it's like it's the same thing. It's not pimping out my culture. Like I know Bad Bunny and J Balvin and all
Yeah.
these people are like blowing the fuck up and all that, but I don't need to go and jump into that lane.
Yeah.
At least not right now. I have a lot of work to do still.
Yeah,
You know what
definitely.
I mean? And my perspective on just like music creation and output, like I don't know how long I'll be enthusiastic the way I am now and energized the way I am now. So I gotta make sure I set the bar high for the next wave, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not even just Latinos, but just like inclusion of your own identity and your own cultural background into a medium that doesn't always reflect that purely, you know what I'm saying?
To completely
hip-hop
embrace
is usually,
who you are.
to me, it's always been more Caribbean, like reggae. Like reggae has always been like, obviously jazz and stuff like that, but I'm talking about like the outsides. Like
Yeah.
reggae is usually the one that gets infused the most. So let me try to make some way for Latino in there too, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one. Obviously, I had teachers like Pun and Cypress Hill
Of
and all
course,
these
yeah.
people, but yeah.
Do you ever get like weird comparisons just because you're Latino? Like when,
Yeah, like the Pun thing is just
Yeah.
because I raps fast and I'm
Yeah.
light skinned doesn't mean I sound like Pun. You know?
Yeah.
As much of a blessing as that is lyrically,
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like it's lazy. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But you do. But you know, there's not enough of people to to be able to compare me to anyway. So
Yeah,
I'm cool with just sounding like me.
definitely. I feel like being from Brooklyn, like when I think of like Brooklyn hip hop right now, it's like has a real different sound. Like kind of like, I mean, there's different sounds
Yeah.
of it. You know what I mean? But obviously, like one of the most popular right now is like the Brooklyn, like what do they call it? Like drill,
Brooklyn
like,
drill, yeah,
like Pop Smoke and stuff like that.
22
Like
Gs, all that shit, yeah.
exactly. What do you listen to that type of music? What is your thoughts on it? Like
Yeah, Pop Smoke is hot. 22 Gs has fire. Like,
yeah.
I feel like there's always gonna be some, you know, Bobby Smurda. Everybody's still waiting for him to come the fuck
On
out
God,
already.
yeah.
And like, I think, you know, that's the thing. Like sometimes people are like, yo, you sound so New York, and I'm like, I know what you mean, because then they follow up with, yo, yeah, boom bap shit. I was just like, yo, that's not. Like there's so much, like A Boogie is straight up
Yeah.
New York. Like I hear,
course,
like you
yeah.
sound like the Bronx. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like so many artists, like you said, like the Pop Smoke wave, the Bobby Smurda wave, honestly the 6ix9ine wave, not like all of that, like
Yeah.
all of these are indicators of New York, not just lyric based music. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I listen to it. I mean, obviously I don't listen to anything that much, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I listen to it and I fuck with what I fuck with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it all represents my city, because the city is diverse, and it's actually a breath of fresh air to know that there can be 10, 20, 30 prominent New York artists, and all of them are in their own lanes and,
Yeah.
and you know, represented in their own way.
And a lot
That
of them
shit
are
is
from
ill.
Brooklyn.
That shit
So
is
it's-
ill. Yeah, and it's a
dope.
lot from Brooklyn, and the Bronx too. The Bronx is doing their
Yeah.
thing. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah. So what do you feel like, you know, if someone hasn't, you know, listened to your album, like what do you feel like are some things that they would like take away from it? Like if they've never heard of you,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like what do you think there's some things they could take away from it?
I just feel like I'm an artist that knows himself. You know what I'm saying? I'm an artist that I know I'm working at a higher purpose. I know that I'm connected to God. I know that I'm connected to the people. I know that I'm young enough to be connected to the present, but I've seen enough to know what proper guidance can look like, and I know my responsibility with my voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just feel like I have what the world needs and what the world complains about it lacking, you know what I'm saying, as far as the humility and the heart, and like aware of the youth, and but still respect for your elders, but still like could smoke a blunt with you in the car.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like I get it from every side, and it's not just me, it's my team, you know what I'm saying? Everybody you see in this room, like, and the people who aren't here too, like we understand that balance, you know what I'm saying? We listen to everything, we intake everything, we respect knowledge is knowledge, and for me, I just feel like we just have to raise the level on what art is and respecting our history and really incorporating that, you know what I'm saying? It's like you have to study to be one of the best, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we're not out here like judging who can be our teachers, like, and yeah, man, identity, the love, You know what I'm saying? Like confidence. Like my shit is like, how do I instill power into somebody? How can I remind somebody that they're not alone? How can I just make sure you just feel sexy as a motherfucker? Like, I don't know, human. You know what I'm saying? Transparency for real.
It was really dope. But I had to like look at the lyrics of the song title's escaping me right now.
Okay.
But when you said like, I just had somebody like in my DMs like
telling me my song just really saved his
just
life.
Saved their
and I'm
life.
still worried about the littlest shit.
Still
like,
worried about
a lot
the
of
little
praise.
shit. That
shit
was like, whoa. That was a lot of praise, right?
A lot of praise.
Yeah, there
yep,
goes. Yeah.
Yep.
That was probably like my favorite song on the album.
That's
honestly.
crazy. That's like the deepest, the darkest one to me in a way.
Yeah.
But I feel like necessary one. You know,
on God.
at the end.
That's the one I felt the
end.
most. And that one, when I heard that line, I was like, whoa, that's some real shit. Like, because it's
and
really
that's a real time. Like I remember being depressed and somebody hitting me up and I was just like, oh nah, like this is, what the fuck am I worried about? Like I'm thinking about how I'm not on in whatever capacity and like this person just like that's 100% fact, bro. That wasn't a punchline.
No, I knew it wasn't. It was dope. Like, you know what I mean? To like really hear that, because you know, you just think sometimes you're like, what am I doing this for? Sometimes you can get lost in the shit and forget why you started. And if you save one person's life, bro, like shit, that better than a plaque, right? You know what I mean? Like honestly, like
feeling wise
too.
But you know, the thing is that as artists we need to make money, and as artists we deserve wealth. Like I deserve to be rich. I deserve to have influence. I deserve to be humble.
Hard.
I deserve to be able to help. I deserve, you know what I'm saying? When I say deserve, I don't mean like it's promised, but like I put in work to do that, and it's like I know, but we live in this physical world, so it's like you need to pay your rent. As much compliments as you could get all day,
course,
like the landlord doesn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like your credit card bill does not care. So it's like figuring out like what's that balance, man? Like I get it, I'm high. I get it. Like but sometimes it really feels like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know I'm not the only artist that feels like that. Like sometimes it's like, damn, like people are telling me I'm dope, but why doesn't my real life situation reflect the love that I'm getting from the people? And that's a balance, you know. That's a discipline that you have to just like instill as like a business, and surrounding yourself with people and just employing a different perspective on your shit, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that you can profit monetarily, but at the same time you're fulfilled by the work spiritually and emotionally and like how it affects people, you know. Yeah,
exactly.
It's tough.
Yep. So shit, man, anything else you want to tell people before we get out of here?
Yo, I just think you should listen to Nothing Changes If Nothing Changes. I think you should listen to Mad Wiz and History and Riz Allah and DJ Cupboard and Fifth God, and you know what I'm saying?
The album title was so dope. It's one of those like, as a writer, I really love the way like things can be interpreted multiple ways.
Yeah.
And how simple that sentence is and how powerful it is.
Yeah, because that's not even an original thought. I didn't come up. I'm not the first person that like, you can look up that shit all day.
Yeah.
But when I peeped the phrase, it was just like, nah, this is where I'm at right now. Like my album, even at that point, it was like, you know, the first song facing mortality, the last song facing like praise, and just like that weird balance of like, you know, fame and materialism and whatever the fuck it is. Like I know I had to boss the fuck up and level up as a human being if I wanted to level up as an artist. So like I made a lot of changes, like for real.
Yeah.
And like the new music, I don't think the new music represents that in a certain way too, you know.
Yeah.
Or
that's super dope. Everybody can follow you at
Radamiz. You know, that's on anything.
And go cop those Tims. I seen those Tims, the endorsement thing.
The buttery joints. You know what
that's
I'm saying?
hard.
Yeah, you should probably spend some money on that just for like your toes. You know what I'm saying?
God.
In the cold. Like that don't even have nothing to do with me. I don't get PC on constructs. You know what I'm saying? But
that was just dope, because it's like I was telling Marcos like on our way over here. I'm like, if you're a New Yorker, you get a Tim, like,
oh yeah, you know, I hit them hard.
Sponsorship,
with the New York
like just whatever, whatever
like,
capacity you work with. That's like us, like working with like Chuck Taylor's,
right. Nah, for real, staple.
Yeah, it's a staple. Like that's like some shit. Like damn, like you know that 12-year-old you would like fucking
12-year-old me couldn't afford them. This is the first time I've ever had them. Keeping it in a stack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I always had to. Damn man, I remember showing up in 6th grade. 7th grade, 8th grade, like we wore uniforms, so how you showed off was like your feet.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, I couldn't even like. People used to walk in with the Dickies and the Constructs, and I was in VIM, like I had to get the no brand, the no name fucking slacks, and like the hand-me-down Tims from my uncle. I remember them shits, man. Like, just trying to clean them up, make them look so people don't know that they're hand-me-downs. Like, so it's just ill to, like, just to have validation like that. Like, it's not like I worship the material, but it's ill when it manifests in that way. Like, it's kind of worth it to stick around and see the full picture, you know? And the fact that the ad, to me, more importantly, is like, it shows my brothers, it shows my mom, my dad, my childhood, you know, place. Like, I represented it higher than that, you know?
Hell yeah. That's super dope. Well, shit. Appreciate you, bro. As always.
Nothing changes. Rosecrans Vic. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention, LA. You know what I mean?
Yep. Rosecrans Radio, we out.
Bless.